And we're live. Welcome to another episode of Sleazy Sports. And today I'm joined by the gents, Trisho, Hugo Brotz, and Sihle Ed. Compliments of the season, gentlemen.
Happy
How's
New Year,
everyone
gents.
doing?
Happy New Year, guys.
Yeah.
Happy New
Surviving. We're
Year.
back on this.
I never know. I never know what to say when someone says compliments in your season.
Mhm.
I prefer Happy New Year and Wednesday.
Yeah.
Look, it's
Well,
as South Africans, it's always about the cutoff time. So I
yeah.
believe if I haven't seen you till about Easter, it's still compliments.
Yeah.
But there's always a debate. People say the first week of Jan, people say February, people say Valentine's Day. But it's the first time I'm seeing you compliments of the New Year, compliments of the season.
Yeah.
Dude, if you say Valentine's Day, I mean, Woolies have put up the banners for Valentine's and shit. But anyway, this is not
Already.
about romance. Yeah, it's not about romance. This is purely
Mm.
about a manager's list team that is somewhere here and somewhere here, and yeah, I think let's just get
Yeah.
it.
It's the first time I'm seeing. And I was
Yeah, yeah.
hanging on by a thread, by the way. I was hanging on by a thread.
Yeah. I'm just checking if the comments are open, legends, before we start, because I did open them. I did, but I just want to quickly check. Yeah, we are now good. So, gents, of course, I would have loved for us to talk about Bafana Bafana, but I think we can end with that. I think let's start off with the hot topic of the day. You know, anything Man United related will always be the hottest topic. You know, Chelsea sacked their manager, only 10 retweets, done. When we sack our manager, it's over 100,000 retweets. You know, so it just shows you the magnitude of both clubs, and this is just being factual. I'm not throwing any banter, but Man United news makes the world go round, and it is what it is. So I just wanted to start off with my fellow Man United fan, Trisho. How are you feeling about this, Trisho? How's
I'm
you
feeling a
glowing?
bit.
That's what I can say.
Look, I'm happy that he's gone, but after hearing
Mm,
what I've heard, reading what I've read, seeing what I've seen, I'm very worried
mm,
because like yes, we look. You and I said we're going to give him
mm,
time. You gave him
mhm,
less time to me. I tried to be fair, but we said we were going to give him time because it wasn't his
mm,
team, it wasn't his players, and
mm,
so on. The thing is, we gave him time. The results didn't improve. I mean, we spoke the other day. We said if we just won simple home games, we'd be third. Simple
mm,
home games. And I think that the fact is, despite all of those, the reason that they sacked him wasn't just because of results, and rather his media outbursts. And I know that on 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 Friday or something, there was a big meeting, and him and Wilcox had a screaming match and all of that. So when it's when that becomes a reason you fire a manager, I think you're a problem. When you're not seeing how bad the results are, you're not seeing how bad the football is, and that's the reason you're firing a manager. I think that's a big problem, and I think Wilcox got to go because I think at the end of the day, if you're coming in here and
Yes, sir.
saying, you wanted to say that you want a four-back manager, but you hire a three-back manager, and then you hope that in the long term you convince him to go to a four-back. That's not going to work. And look, I'm
yeah.
happy, but given that they made the mistake of firstly hiring Ashworth, secondly keeping Ten Hag longer than they should have, giving him, I mean, extending his contract, spending 200 million on him, then signing Amorim, not giving him money in his first window, spending money unnecessarily in his first
Mm,
main window, keeping him for too long. Where's the trust supposed to come from? How am I supposed to trust the
mhm.
board to make the right decision to bring in the right manager?
Wait, Trish,
Yeah.
where was it too long? Where was it too long? Because you gave him the bucks, and now it's too long after you gave him the bucks. Because I believe he was sacked now because they didn't trust him with this window. But
Mm.
when was the trust meant to? When was it supposed to end?
I think it. I stopped trusting him when everyone could see that the three back wasn't working. Everyone could see it.
Mhm.
Everybody could see, it, but not him. And I think
Yep.
like I know people say it's a good thing, but when I lost trust in him even more was when he did switch to a back four. And I'm like, your whole shouts when you came here was that you're going to stick to your guns, you're pragmatic, you're not going to change, and then your back gets put on the wall, and then you want to change, and then you have one good game where we played really well in a back four, and then he goes to a back three again. That for me was like no. And I think
I think
it
it's
was
it's a snowball effect there. Sorry, it's a snowball effect that no one wants to speak on. I mean, the timelines that you've given, where the extension of Ten Hag's contract when they didn't need to. When I say they, I'm speaking about the board. There was no need for that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, they then spent quite a bit of money in his vision, Ten
Yep.
Hag's vision, which was like very skewed. Like I think a drunk has a better vision than fucking Ten Hag.
Yeah.
But anyway, it is what it is. They extended for like what 4 or 5 months. And then you get that guy. I forgot the guy that you got in as the
CEO
That's
as
right.
Obara.
he,
Omar
no, no,
Barada.
no, no, not Borada. The guy that you
CEO.
got in, you Dan somebody. I forgot the name.
Ashworth.
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 Yeah,
From
yeah,
us.
yeah.
Yeah,
Brought him in and
I
then
mean,
fired
they
him.
literally
Yeah.
stole him from us.
yeah,
He had a gardening leave. He was doing well with
yeah,
us, and then he doesn't even last at
yeah.
United. But
So
like he was moving and grooving by us. But yeah, things were not
so
making sense. So
I
I'm
think
calling the
it's something
timeout.
that no one wants to speak on. You've set this guy up for failure, and he doesn't help his case by being this arrogant prick. That end of the day, I think we watch football and we're at the point of understanding what works and what doesn't. And drawing doesn't mean that you're moving forward. Drawing
Mhm.
just simply means, yeah, it's a stalemate. It ends there. And in it ending there, I get this guy. He has that arrogance of like, oh yeah, I drew with Leeds, and what's his name, Owen comes on and he says, yeah, it's good momentum for United, for the United project because moving forward. I say bullshit. You 10 managers
So
deep into post Ferguson, and in you 10 managers, I think Amram is the worst of the lot.
He is, yeah. Amarim is
By
the worst of
far.
the lot. I think when
he's
you
missed
look
it.
at someone like, I mean, it's. Like, I know the rest of the league hasn't been doing as well as they would normally be doing, but the fact is that if we won four very simple home games, very simple home games, we would be third in the table, and no one would be questioning Amarim. And the thing is, when you look at the team that we didn't have injuries, we didn't have people away from for AFCON, we were playing good football, but when you need a win and you bring on a center back, or you're playing a back four, you need a win, and then you bring on another center back to switch to a back five, that's when people start asking questions. And when you're heavily reliant on Dogu to be your attacking threat, that's a problem. The fact that it's embarrassing that he chose to play Dogu as our right 10 against Leeds instead of playing Lacey. I think for me, as a United fan, a club that has been built on giving academy a chance, Lacey, who has been one of the most hyped talents, who plays in that position and can't get a start, I think that's pathetic. And not even Dogu. If you want to not play Lacey, play Zaxi. Zaxi came out and was my man of the match against Leeds.
Mm. Yeah.
I think that just
Odds.
goes to show.
Yeah. I think Odds
So maybe yeah, maybe like maybe Jazza, you maybe can teach me football. I clearly don't know football. Sitley, you're a keeper. Maybe I don't know football. I in the I don't know. We've been watching footy. There's been a lot of great managers that have come across, retired. We've watched. We've grown up watching. Who have changed their systems and lost with the system, and they've won with the system. I'm still, we always talk about Pep, right? And Pep came in and was arrogant, but I don't think Pep has done the same thing his entire time at City. We're still sitting here saying Amarin is here and he's not going to change. Every manager has changed. Every manager has changed the way that they play. From Fergie, from Wenger, from Mourinho, they've all just decided, okay, this is not working for me, and maybe I can do this, maybe I can do that. But I've seen games where we lost to Arsenal, we lost to Liverpool, and I'm like, oh my god, we got a final coming up against Liverpool, and Liverpool was stunned; they don't know how to play against us. So in all of that, like coaches should have the ability to look around and say, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that and still win the game.
It's
For
evolution
example,
more than
even
anything.
Cameroon.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
thank
saying.
you.
evolution
I was
more
about
than
to
anything.
say.
Yes, Cameroon
yeah.
yesterday had no answer for us for about 20 minutes.
Yep.
20, 25 minutes. Cameroon had no answer for us. We should have at least put 2 or 3 away. But then their coach came back and then changed everything. Said, we're dropping. We're doing low block. We're doing this. We're doing that. Baleba was nowhere in yesterday's game. And I was like, who is this Baleba guy that United want to buy spend 100 million for? And then all of a sudden, he started changing the game. Mbeumo had disappeared. Then he was in charge. Then was in the game. So you can't tell me the coach is going to sit there and say 3-3-3-3 for literally 14 months, 18 months, and then still expect to have a job. No, you change, bruh. You have to change the way you play.
I lost the
That's a
faith
game.
in him. It's the minute that I saw Mount in that starting lineup against Spurs in that final, that's when I started losing faith. Because if Mount didn't score those 2 goals against Bilbao at home in the semi-final, he wouldn't have played. And Bruno would have played as a 10. And the thing is, that entire season, whenever Casemiro and Igate played, we did well. And then the one game, we knew Spurs were going to absorb the pressure and counter. We knew that's all Spurs were going to do. Everyone knew that. Anyone who watched Spurs and United and any ball knowledge at all knew that was what Spurs were going to do. You just had to play Casemiro and Igate. As soon as he started Mount, I knew, okay, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. Let's just see what happens. In the summer, they spent a lot of money. They spent a lot of money on Šeško. We can't get the best out of Šeško. Cunha is sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. Mbeumo was player of the month, and then he disappeared. Our most consistent signing this season has been Lemons. And I think that goes to show when you're spending 60, 70 million on 3 players, and then your 20 million pound goalkeeper is your best signing. I think that goes to show, because you can't change a goalkeeper tactically except saying play short or play it long. That's the only thing you can do. That's the only thing you can do. And I think with him...
But the problem is we're running out of managers that are going to want to take the poison chalice. We're running out of managers. Unless you
they're not going to get run
I
down.
honestly don't know who comes in.
Nothing's going to run
My
out.
hope was get an interim and bring Nagelsmann after the World Cup, but Nagelsmann won't want to come to this.
I honestly don't
shit
think
show.
there's good enough managers around right now.
No,
that are going to
Terry,
take the poison
they
chalice.
There's a dearth of quality managers right now.
Oh yeah, okay. In general, nah. You talking
I think,
about
for
in
example,
general,
I think
in
maybe
football.
maybe in
Right.
Allegri right now will
Nah.
probably take the
Allegri's
poison.
done
No,
a good
Allegri.
job at
No,
managing.
if people complain about boring football at United, they'll hound Allegri out.
Well,
Nah.
what do United want? And this is a question that it goes back. There's 2 clubs that are sitting with the same issues right now. It's Chelsea and United. You have directors
Chelsea,
of
don't
football
involve
that
us.
are...
Hold on.
No,
I'll tell you why
You don't have a
shouldn't-
manager,
I'll
so
tell
you're
you-
involved.
Hold on. I'll
I'm
tell you
going
why
to
you shouldn't
Jared
involve it.
speak.
Because I think
Jared
everyone is
speak.
drawing parallel. Where I will.
No,
Everyone is drawing
Let me
parallels
actually speak to
to.
this because I want to address the issue. It's issues of boards being arrogant and coaches that are not quality. There's not enough quality coaches around. The difference between Chelsea and United is Chelsea actually has talent. There's young talent, but there's talent. United has tried to bring some talent in recently, but they don't have the amount of talent that Chelsea does. But the parallels between the two is that it's 2 clubs where there's systems that have been brought in. There's a whole system. They want to take power away from managers because they don't want to be stuck in the cycle that they previously were, which is managers recruiting players that they want. And then when their manager leaves, you're stuck with a player that's unwanted.
They
And
tried
that
very
has
hard to
been
build an identity, but it's failing.
100%. But what you have is that you have directors that aren't experienced enough, that aren't doing the job correctly. And there's problems in how they're doing recruitment as a whole. Now, Chelsea, on the one hand, like I said, and to add to speak to Sikle's point, by Chelsea, there is talent. But it's been the concern with Chelsea is that we have a lack of physicality in our team. And that physicality hasn't been addressed, which is why we have games like against Bournemouth, against any mid-table team that's going to run hard and be physical. Chelsea's going to have a struggle every time. United, on the other hand, United have players that were recruited now for Ruben. You look at Mboemo, you look at Cunha, they half space players. Now, what happens if a new coach comes in and wants to play with two wingers again, hogging the line? You now have players that are half space players, and you've got a club, a squad that's designed for that, but now you must find a coach that fits that style. And this is why I can understand from director's points standpoint that we can't recruit anymore and allow a coach just to bring in players that he wants. I mean, let's go back 20 years ago. Jose Mourinho comes in, Jose Mourinho tells you I want XYZ. You get it.
Simple.
Because you know Jose Mourinho is going to win.
And with Jose, when he wanted Drogba, the board said, who the hell is Drogba? Why do you
Yeah,
want Drogba? And he insisted. He said,
yeah,
you
but
bring me Drogba or I
100%.
don't want anything. They gave
But
him Drogba. What happened?
Jose came with the Champions League with Porto, so he could do that. You've got
So,
coaches, like I said.
Jared, I'm not arguing with your points. Like,
Yep.
bang on. It's exactly
I
my
hit
thought.
the nail on the
My
head there, Jared.
yeah, my argument comes in where everyone says there's a parallel between what's going on at Chelsea and what's going on at United. It's two totally different things. At United, I get the feeling that you got rid of Reinnick, who I think was the one guy who had the balls to say what no one wanted to say. When he made that statement about open heart surgery in the club, he wasn't
Ranić needed to be here,
speaking.
right?
Yeah, he wasn't speaking about the players recruit. He was speaking from up top. That the guys that are up top, you need to get guys that understand what you are trying to achieve. Which then in turn, with what's his name, Amrim, having that freaking shit show of a press conference yesterday where he says he was hired as a team manager and not a coach, which is it's that disconnect. It's like you are hired as the CEO, but you expected to do CFO things. I don't know. That's as basic as I could make it because he's dying on his sword, thinking I'm giving this. You're the manager. What you say goes, and we'll follow what your vision is. So this seems like a delusion as to what's going on up top and how it filters down to exactly the guys on the ground, which is your recruitment. X, one more point before I forget it. The squad that you have right now at United is a squad that's been, I think, 4 managers compiled the squad. 4 different managers.
Can I go?
And you're going to
go
need
for it?
one to dismantle it. Go
Con-
ahead.
Look, gents, with me, okay. Sihle in, Jared, you guys hit the nail from uh, the perspective that the board per se isn't running Man United in a way that it should. I think the main mistake that we made, right? We did things, when you go to like step two instead of starting at step one. I feel like we didn't use the correct steps when we assembled the board. Like, of course, we got Omar Porada in, right? When Omar Porada was in, right? He then got Dan Ashworth, right? And then they had a fallout from an identity standpoint. Omar Barada wanted us to play a certain way. Ashwood wanted us to play a certain way. Ashwood wanted, I think, the former English manager. What is his name? Southgate, right?
Okay.
And then Barada didn't want Southgate, and so they clashed, and then they sacked Ashwood, right? So for me, I felt like we were meant to get a DOF, right? That, of course, is someone who I'd say is who thinks in a similar way as to what Omar Barada wanted to do. So we then, instead of getting a DOF, we got a manager. So we gave Barada the keys to hire the manager. And it's not the CEO's job to hire the manager. It's the DOF, because the DOF works closely with the manager. So we hired a manager, then hired a DOF, only to find out those two guys, it's oil and water. The way Jason Wilcox wants the team set up is totally different to how Amorim wants the team set up. I've been hearing through the grapevines that Jason Wilcox wanted the guy from Brighton, the former coach, the Italian Bruce at Marseille. What's his name?
Yeah.
It starts with the Z.
Is it
The
Deserbi?
Deserbi.
Yes,
Deserbi,
that's
yeah.
who he wanted. But because they made the appointment of the coach first before they hired the DOF, that's where I felt like our club got it wrong from jump. And I did see this coming, in the sense that I knew that the way Amorim is so stubborn, the way Amorim is so stuck in how he wants to do things, it's gonna create a situation where they clash. And I think the reason why the sack was so delayed, I think it should have happened after
It was
we
right
lost
on time.
to- It,
It was right on time.
I know. I think it was meant to happen when we lost in the Europa League. Personally, if when we lost in the
So-
final, I felt
When,
that's
when
when it
did
was
you
supposed to happen.
when did you play that that weird cup and you lost and you went to penalties?
No, not
Grimsby.
Grimsby.
Tuesday night.
It's before the champ the what again Europa League final. I felt that that's where we were meant to get rid.
Grimsby highlighted the problems that you had, but no
Yeah.
one wanted to have a look at those problems.
No.
But can
Besides
I-
that,
You know,
can I
I want
just say in closing, bro?
so please finish. Yeah. Next.
Yeah. So I just wanted to say in closing, it's that thing of, like I said, the director of football and the coach work hand in hand, right? When you look at the top teams like your Real Madrids, your Bayern Munich's, I think those are the top two teams in my opinion. Barcelona, there's a way in how they play football, and they always recruit for the club. They never ever recruit for the manager. Even Ancelotti once said in his interview with Gary Lineker that he arrived at Madrid and the players were already there, and he was tasked to bring out the best out of these players. Regardless of what system you play, they have to perform and they have to deliver. And so the top three teams that I've just named, that's how they operate. And I feel like that's what Ineos were trying to implement at United, but they just didn't do it the correct way. And
don't forget, don't
Yeah.
forget, Amorim is the manager who went and said this is the worst Man United squad he's ever seen.
yeah, well,
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
want to ask the question because now, yes, we're talking about one day football. So I had an analogy in my head. It's like going to a club, but a club or a bar where
Yeah.
we say to someone, "Hey, chief, we're all drinking Corona, right? The club drinks Corona. All six of us we drink Corona, but
Yeah.
go to the bar and go order. Then the two of you go, you and your director of football, you go and you come bring Savannah. We're angry, but we're going to drink Savannah. Then we give the card to the next person and we say, Chief, we've been saying Corona, but you bring 3 Savannahs and 3 Coronas. Now we got to get rid of you because we keep telling you to do this, but we keep sending you with carte blanche. Now you've got a coach who's bought a keeper, which fair. He's bought a keeper.
Yeah.
He bought Ugarte. From my understanding, he bought Ugarte.
Mhm.
Or didn't he buy Ugarte? Okay, fine.
He
So he's
did.
got his
He did.
sentiment. Yeah. He's got some of these players that are running around. He's got some guys that have got caps. He's bought a front 3. He's bought a front 3. He spent money on the front 3. Now you've got rid of him. Now he's got to find a problem for Dorku. He might have to say, Shaw's not my guy. He might have to say, Lenny Yoro's not my guy. He might have to, someone's going to re-captain Harry Maguire because Harry Maguire is going to be that guy. You're going to have a coach who's going to come in and say, I have never liked Mason Mount. Or someone who's going to say, Cisco was never, I don't want to play
Yeah.
Cisco's system. So now we're sitting in the same situation where you gave people money. And I think that the habit started with Ten Hag. And I could see Ten Hag's transfers. And I'm like, there's problems. Because Ten Hag's team, and I've said it on this pod before, Ten Hag's team never did well when they left. You find one, and I say maybe Frankie de Jong. And even Frankie de Jong struggled a little bit when he left. But look at Ten Hag's team today
The
that
Ajax
made the
side.
semi-final. The Ajax team. Look at Ten Hag's team that made the semi-final. One's back in Africa, and the rest, one's at United, and the rest are all just trying to figure their way out. And I'm not judging that, but you cannot go and then give that. And that's why I'm saying this is probably the right time. He should have maybe been sacked going into AFCON, so like November-ish, because then he can assess his squad. Right now, he's got 2 weeks to assess his squad, whoever you're going to bring in. And you're going to say to Fletcher, hey, Chief, I'm not even giving you 50 bar. Because Fletcher probably they're going to say, dog, you've seen the whole squad. So you're going to have to work with what you give you because you're just interim. But Fletcher might say, there's something that I'm seeing out there. You know, maybe there's a system change that I can do. But why I said to Threshold, this is probably the right time, is because they were never going to trust him with the money if he was still the manager and said, I still need this. He's your manager. He's your head coach. But now you can say to Fletcher, hey, dog, you're staying to the end of the year, but we're not giving you money. Ragnick was the same thing. Carrick, Van Nistelrooy, I know of his Van Nistelrooy.
Yeah,
was
me,
not in a transfer.
guys, personally, just to say, this is an unpopular opinion. I don't think the squad is as bad as what we see. I think, especially
a
when
very
our
good squad.
AFCON, exactly, especially our attack. Our attack, aren't we one of the best scoring teams in the league?
I like the squad.
High
You
scoring.
see what I'm saying? So
Can
us,
I
the problem,
put a
the problem I think,
disclaimer against that X?
yeah,
Why? You guys are
yeah,
looking like a good attack because everyone thinks they can beat you.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
but okay,
Oh, man,
true.
and
The,
then
pro-
But
the problem, the problem,
but another
the,
thing
the
is
problem,
that
X, that no one. Hold on. X, sorry. My internet is acting up. I don't know what the fuck is going on.
you can go.
It's still in December mode. The problem with United as a team, it's you are fractured. The middle of the park is your biggest problem, and no one wants to address the middle of the park.
Thank you.
Ugarte,
Yeah,
he's not good enough. Let's just be frank. What's his
I
name?
think
Cass. Cass.
that is not as bad as what we see. Dogu is not
Yeah.
as bad as what we see. Remember when I
Ugarte.
Dog-
Okay, no.
Dog.
Togo is as bad as what we see,
No.
but the other players are not.
So X,
no. Remember when I typed in Snoop Dogu Dog? The reason why I typed in
So-
Snoop Dogu Dog in the group is because
do you-
in the first half, Homeboy reverted to a mid-block 4-4-2. That position benefits Casemiro because he can't run. That's
X,
what.
have you
let me
ever
say-
been?
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
X, have you
Let
ever
me
been
say
in a
this.
relationship where you have to explain that your partner is not as bad as everyone thinks the partner is?
Nah, I haven't.
That's how you sound
yeah.
like. No.
Let me
So,
let me
I
say
was speaking about your middle, like, and I think a lot of people, everyone that is new to football is attracted to the fancy part of football, which is the going forward. But Mourinho once said, or was it Arsene Wenger? You win the
that's-
league.
It's
You win the
Fergie.
league with your defense,
It's Fergie.
and
yeah.
I think
Fergie.
defense is an
Fergie said.
art. It's
At the
an
time,
art
Fergie
form.
said three losses and you're out of the league. In Fergie's
Yeah.
time, 3 losses. You're out of the league.
Defense is an
Now you
art
can get away
form
with 6.
that has been eroded. Like Italy used to be the best defenders, and now we've got like But anyway,
2006,
And-
But I think
Italy
that's
conceded
modern.
1 goal from open play, or they conceded 1 goal, or 1 goal from.
So-
and then you look. You
2006.
look at
This
how
is 7
exposed your
games.
defense is. Yeah, you look at the goal that you conceded this weekend. Was it this weekend? Sorry, there's been so much of football. That one ball that went over, and your heaven boy misjudged it, and this ball was from the keeper. It went over. Heaven misjudged it, and it ended up with an attacker, and it was a goal. Was it against
You're
Leeds?
talking about
if I'm not
the
mistaken?
goal that Leeds scored. That's not Heaven's fault. The goal that we
That's what that's exactly what I'm saying. That your defenders are so exposed.
That's
There's
because
a
we're
role.
playing. You know why?
There's a role that exists where everyone knows that Makalele is that role, which is that invisible role that protects your defense. You don't have that.
Nah, we
They've got
like I
two great
said,
players in that role, bro.
personally,
They've got two great
personally,
players in that
guys,
role.
I,
They're not being coached.
yeah,
Who and
you
who?
know, like
I'm going to use the point. I will put
Wait.
this point when we talk about
So Hugo. Question: Who and who that are not being coached?
You can't tell, bro. You guys were singing praises about Manu
No.
Ugarte.
But
We've watched Manu
you
Ugarte
said
play. We've
they've
watched
got
him
two. They've
play.
got two
Probably
brilliant players in that role that are not being coached. Who and who?
Ugarte is not a bad player. We're talking about the
thank
squad
you.
now.
Like
Ugarte's
you
not a
can't.
bad
I
player.
agree.
The
I
thing
agree
is,
with
I-
the
Hugo.
thing
Thing
is,
is, right?
I
The
agree
first
with
couple
Hugo.
months of
Though.
Let me
Igate,
say something.
Was good. I liked
He's
Igate.
not
The first couple months
bad.
he
he's
was good.
26. You
But
can't
ever
give.
Can
since
I?
then,
You
he's
guys,
been
Are
awful.
we at the
United
point where
will
we're
kill
coaching a
Vitinha.
26-year-old?
He's not that.
United will kill Vitinha. United will kill Vitinha right now.
Yeah, 100%. We would because
No,
you know
100%
why,
is not enough
and as
coaching.
well,
The quality of coaching is not there.
it's because these modern day coaches are so obsessed with high pressing, dog.
Hmm.
Like personally, I
But
have a problem with high pressing teams, dog. Why don't you just revert to a mid block? Mid block.
so
Mid blocks are you
I think
secure in mid blocks. Remember Ten Hag's first season, first 4 games we lost. Remember Thrishel, we were getting clobbered. Brentford kicked our ass. You know what he did? He's like, okay, let me go back to a mid block. All of a sudden we're not conceding goals.
That was like some of the best from that
You see what I'm
period
saying?
until the 7-0. We played some of
Yeah.
the best
You
football.
know why? We stopped. We didn't play this high pressing rock and roll football, bruh. We just played a mid block. That's all. It's just our attack was
so
bad. We just weren't good at scoring. But imagine if we have this attack that we have coupled with being a mid block team, bro. We won't. I'm not saying we're gonna win the league, no, but teams will struggle to score against us.
Mhm.
As a matter of
Dog,
fact, I
one
do
game.
believe and it's as well, it's 1 game a week. That's also another thing, Hugo Bros, that you're about to touch on. We play 1 game a week, so we're not under pressure like Chelsea, Newcastle, City, Arsenal, Liverpool. These guys have a lot of modules. I keep telling you guys, in varsity, if you've got one module for 1 semester, you can't fail it, dog. Unless if you are doing some crazy statistics or like a crazy module. But bro, if let's say you're doing a business management, like normally B man, everyone has who in commons has done business 101. One module. And then you're gonna dog. Come on, guys. Come
Play.
on, dudes. That's why I say this squad. I'm not saying it's the best squad, but it's not as bad as what we see. Because when these guys go to their relative countries, like Dogu when he plays for Denmark, why does Dogu look so good when he plays for Denmark? Why does Casemiro look so good when he plays for Brazil? These are the questions I ask myself. I'm like, these guys are not as bad. Ukate for thingy, Uruguay. I bet you now, if Uruguay in the World Cup, watch when Ukate plays for Uruguay, he's not gonna look bad, bro. And that's because
But
of
they,
how the
but they,
team is set up. And so, moral of the story is, before in closing, United fans, can we focus on the overall team performance and stop looking for a savior? Like, we need to look at the entire team performance from goalkeeper to attack. Is Bruno putting up the numbers that Drishel is used to seeing? If he's not putting
Season,
up
if
those
anything,
numbers, then
Bruno
there's
has,
clearly
has
a
been has
problem.
been pretty good. But the thing is,
No, no,
remember,
but he's not the Bruno.
he's putting up
That,
those numbers playing as CDM, and that's the
no,
coach's.
no, but the thing is, he's not playing as well as like the Bruno for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for one,
Yeah.
the Bruno for Portugal for one.
On
For the
Solskjaer,
mere fact that our
I'm gonna
players,
throw my hat in the ring.
yeah,
I'd take Solskjaer back for the rest of the
yeah,
season. I'd take Solskjaer back.
same here. I would too. I would too.
I want to
I
ask
would too. With this attack, I would too, Trisho. I agree with you, bro. But like, we just need to now look at the team's overall performance and stop looking for individuals. Because that's my argument with a lot of United fans. We're too fixated on blaming people instead of just looking at how the team performs as a collective. Are we defending well as a collective? Because if you defend well as a collective in a mid block, like teams like Palace last season, then that's when you know that there's clear structure here. But now, if one player is doing well and the rest are not doing well, then there's clearly an issue. And for the longest time, that's what I've been seeing with my club. I look at Art's team last season. Okay, this season they're a bit shaky, but last season when you watch Newcastle United last season, everyone was giving you 7 out of 10 minimum. Everyone, even Jacob Murphy, and this is not a winger who we would want at United, bro. But Murphy for fantasy, Murphy was putting in the numbers. Wasn't he one of the top assisters last season?
Yeah, and last season,
Jacob Murphy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's what I look for, bro. Collective performance. Yeah,
So I want to actually ask a question because, like I say, maybe I don't know football, right? Maybe I just watch. We've articulated on Man United's midfield. Trusha, I'll give you Arsenal or Liverpool, whoever you watch the most, and Sitle between you and Jazza, pick a Chelsea and maybe a Spurs. I guess everyone plays a midfield three, right? What's the difference between how we play Bruno Tonali and Joe Linton? What's the difference between how you have Rice, Odegaard, and Zubamendi or someone else? I'm just trying to figure out, because you guys talk about a Bruno there, you talk about Ugarte and Casemiro, you talk about Bruno playing CDM and that's the wrong position. How are these midfield threes? Because everyone's playing a midfield three these days. How are they all playing so differently? And I mean, we can go through the club.
I think you drop it onto the individual level. With Joe Linton, he gives you energy. Joe Linton is not a midfield player, but what he has in character, it overshadows his lack of ability in that role. You look at Bruno. Bruno is, and this is the only Bruno that we recognize is Bruno, Newcastle Bruno. He's talent. He's talent, and I think you guys are holding him back. He's destined for better, bigger teams. I wouldn't go there.
There's no. He's also 20. He's 29 also.
Yeah,
and then Tonali, you can always bet on Tonali to give you an 8, game in, game out. And then you look at United. They get overrun by the most basic of teams. I look at Ugarte. I'm trying to see what is his strong point. Is it heart? No. Is it pace? No. Is it first ball? No. Is it tackling? Maybe, but no. I look at Cass. What is he really good at? He's a multi Champions League winner. He was sitting and he had 2 of probably the best players in front of him. And I look at him now. He's aged. He's not quick.
No. Watch Casemiro for Brazil. You wouldn't say this
Casemiro isn't anywhere near as bad as people think.
He's not. It's this high pressing.
He has a donkey next to him half the time in Ugarte.
Yeah.
And the other time is when he has.
So now we're at the point, Jezza. We're at the point where we blame the person next to us on how bad we look.
So for me,
I mean, if you're playing in midfield and you got a cripple next to you, you're not going to be covering down the half.
I'll get the cripple in a wheelchair, and that's it.
Yeah, Jared.
My concern with the United midfield, good midfields are balanced.
Thank you.
United's midfield is not balanced.
It's not at all.
You have 2 people in Casemiro and Ugarte that don't want to receive the ball on the half turn facing their own goal. So already that eliminates playing through them because they don't want to receive the ball. At Madrid, Modric used to drop to come collect the ball for Casemiro. Or
Kroos used to do the same
would
thing.
Go into the left half space to collect it because he wasn't as comfortable as Modric. You look at Arsenal. Arsenal have rectified Declan Rice's issues by bringing in Zubamedi to be the one to collect the ball.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at all across the teams.
It's so easy to get a balanced midfield because you need 1, a ball winner, 2, a ball progressor, and 3, a creator. United can easily do that if they play a midfield 3 when obviously Casemiro has age, but Casemiro is the ball winner, Menu the progressor, and then Bruno the creator.
The thing with Meno is Meno doesn't have the pace. So you must understand, and that's where the balance comes in. Because you're asking Meno, Meno can play, but Meno is also not comfortable. I've watched him a few times receiving with the player behind him. So basically what you guys end up in doing, and that's where I say a team like Newcastle, Eddie Howe understands the limitations in his team. That's one thing I love about Eddie Howe as a coach. Eddie Howe understands my limitations. I have a goalkeeper, Nick Pope, that I can't ask to play out from the back. So what am I going to do? I'm going to rectify that situation by playing long and playing the second ball. But by
And having a
United,
Jolinton fighting through.
100%. By United, they won't do that because United has the belief that they're a big club, they must play football a certain way. So you
And
now
Chelsea-
need to rectify that situation by bringing in midfielders that have legs,
Yeah.
number one, and number two, who can actually play a bit. Because
Yeah.
if you're going to have Cass, you need legs around him. But you can't
Yeah.
have Ugarte next to him because Ugarte is not comfortable on the ball. That's why PSG
Yeah.
got rid of him.
Yeah.
So
No, that's
And
true.
then Chelsea's, I mean, I haven't seen Chelsea's midfield.
mean,
but
Chelsea's
how-
issue is that we have no physicality. Our
Yeah.
physicality is literally Caicedo. And that's
Yeah.
why against good teams, we play better because we have players that are comfortable on the ball, and the one man that should be there is never fit, is Lavia. But
Yeah.
the thing is, we've got players. The problem with Chelsea is that once teams have legs and they can run in midfield, it becomes a difficult game because we don't have
So,
legs to control the situations, and our
Jared,
players are still
what,
too young
what
to
happens when
understand.
Lavia what happens when Lavia is fit? You get Lavia and you partner Lavia with Caicedo, and they literally
Caicedo.
hold hands. Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
And then what happens with Enzo? Enzo is in front of them both, and
Yeah.
Enzo can
He
do
can
whatever he wants because he
once.
knows he's got these two holding hands. And then
100%.
when we have the upper hand, then Caicedo says to Lavia, "You go forward, and then I'll sit here." And then Lavia goes, and then when Lavia gets like a bit exhausted, he then comes back. He says to Caicedo, "You go, and I'll sit here." And there isn't a huge gap in like a huge drop in talent, because
Yeah.
that's the other thing that everyone seems to forget, that when you've got a role within a team, how huge is the drop from when you substitute or when there's an injury?
And that's what
Santos right now, I feel he needs more time. Liam
Yeah.
comes in, he's going to fast track that.
Yeah.
And it's that simple. If
But
Chelsea
you know,
can
Jared-
have if Chelsea can have 4 players within that role, Caicedo, Santos, Enzo, and Caicedo. Okay, Lavia, I think Lavia is going to go because his injuries are just too much. If we can have these 4 guys operating at the same level, at the same wavelength, we should progress going forward.
But you see, so maybe I'm trying to understand. So Jared said something about how Eddie Howe plays. We heard it about Arsenal as well. I'm getting the vibe that, and this is why I asked about all those different clubs. Does coach understand? Arsenal understood what they needed to do.
Yeah.
Arne Slot maybe still trying to understand what he needs to do. I don't really know Spurs' squad that well. I don't really watch Spurs enough. But from how you guys have articulated Chelsea, it looks like every coach knows their midfield.
Yeah.
And Amorim was still trying to figure it out 14 months later.
Later.
Yeah.
100%.
That's a
You
fact.
have
That's a
if you
fact.
don't have an engine, your car can't move.
It can't.
Now
The
you
midfield guys. Oh, yeah, go, Jared.
like I was saying,
Sorry.
you've got an engine by United, and the problem was he stuck to a formation. Okay, fair enough. That's your principle. This is how you want to play. That's your thing. But you then need to find balance in that. Chelsea played a
And
3-4-3 under Tuchel, but they had balance because they had Jorginho, Kovacic, and Kante.
yeah,
Kante had legs.
100%.
Jorginho could play.
And we
Kovacic
understood Jorginho's shortcomings. He
Yeah.
doesn't have pace.
Yeah, but
Now-
he's
So
good at
don't ask
receiving.
him.
For the
Yeah.
ball.
Thank you. Don't ask him to exert himself and put a bit of pace, because that's not his game.
Yeah.
It's like
And
Sean
another-
Longstaff. Sean Longstaff, same time. It's the same thing. I
Yeah.
also sometimes when I see Lewis Miley playing, I'm like, yo, Lewis Miley's a little bit young. Maybe you should put him there. But he puts him in the Tonali role. So I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. And like you say, Joe Linton is just going to power through.
Yeah.
He's going to let Tonali sit, and Joe Linton's going to power through and hope for the best.
For me, I
and
look at
give you that box to box. So yeah, I get what you're saying.
United's issue right now, and you're playing a three, like I said, Amorim. You're playing a 3-4-3 or 3-5-2, whichever way he was trying to play that point. But the
he's playing
concern,
five at the back.
yeah, it was a 5-3 when they attacked, whatever. But the big concern for me was the two men that were playing as the pivots. You had Casemiro, who isn't comfortable receiving with his back to goal.
Yeah.
But Casemiro has qualities that you can bring and you can work around. But you then need to bring someone.
He is available to hit the ball. But I
100%.
think the squad is very diluted in that there's too many chefs in that pot. It's too many managers that have touched that squad. And it's like that girl, that village bicycle.
The thing is that
but no, on this point, you know, I didn't even hear the joke, but I'm gonna say this, bro. I didn't even I didn't hear the punchline because I was trying to make my point. But literally on that point, I think, are you still frozen? I think he's frozen. But on that point,
he's an idiot to see the end, guys.
Wenger's last player left last year.
Yeah.
I didn't hear your joke. I was trying to make my football comment.
He mustn't repeat
last
it.
Player.
Yeah, he mustn't repeat
it. That's what I'm saying. So, like, you have to. There was two managers after Wenger, and Wenger's player just left. We've had 10 after Fergie, and everyone's signing a piece nyana. Everyone's signing a player and saying, "Chief, this is my player." The biggest thing I think with United was they literally gave Ten Hag the keys to the city to say, "Go and do what you need to do." And come with it. I think Mourinho maybe made some decent signings where it's like, I'm going to build like this because I know this is how I build in the Premier League.
Nah, Ole had more matches than Ten Hag.
But I'm saying in terms of players, the players that he brought in, I would say that you had the guys that were in the interims who kind of understood what maybe the United culture was. Then you say to Ten Hag, here's money. And then you do the same thing to Amorim. Now you're looking at your squad, and it's like, every manager in the past 10 years has a player here.
Yeah.
My concern for United going forward, someone like Dogo. Dogo's not a left back. He's not a left wing. He's a wing back for a reason.
No, he's a fullback, dog.
He's not.
He is, bro. Even at Lecce, he was playing there.
No, defensively at Lecce, he got exposed. They ended up playing him as a right wing at points because he was getting exposed defensively. So players like that, that's where my concern is. Like I say, you guys now have a whole lot of half space players. Cunha's a half space player. Mbuemo, he's a winger, but I would say he's more inside forward than anything. He's a guy that's going to run off and make good runs. So you've got him. You've got Mount, another half space player.
But also you've got a tall striker. You don't have wingers for that striker.
Yeah, you don't have wingers at this point in time. You've got midfielders that don't work and mesh. The one doesn't cover the other one's shortcomings.
Yeah.
So you've got Ugarte that can't play. You can't cover Ugarte by putting Bruno, because you put Bruno now, you're taking your best player out of his best position. But then exactly that. And if you play a three in midfield, you still have a bit of a problem, because you're still going to have, who else are you going to be able to balance it out with? Because if you bring Casemiro in, then you're losing a lot of creativity in that team. So for me, my concern, as I think we all agree, I think the squad is a bit of a mess, and it's been a mess because of years of recruitment. But for me, this is a situation that should have been dealt with already, like you say, X, at the end of the Europa League. When he lost that game, they should have fired him.
Yeah.
because it would have given another coach or even a director of football the time to recruit the players that they wanted for the club, and they would have brought a coach to say, guys, this is what you have to deal with. This is who we're giving you. You're gonna play them. But
Do you
Chelsea,
remember
like
when? Do you remember when Sorry. Do you remember when Hugo raised a point about the extension of Ten Hag's contract?
yeah,
That shouldn't have happened.
no, it
That's
shouldn't have been.
true.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
and
they,
that's the
they've made
unfortunate
that.
thing. That's the unfortunate thing with life, in that at school you go through the lessons for you to write the exam, but with life it's the other way around, where you write the exam for you to learn the lesson, and that's where United are.
No, they've made this. For me, they've made the same mistake twice.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
have.
that's
No, so
exactly what I'm
I would
saying.
agree.
But
I would agree with Jared's point, and where I disagree with you is that I don't think. I think what happened was United said, "You're playing one game a week next year. You got to step up." We've been saying this the entire summer since we finished. We said, "Hey, okay, Big Ange's gone. Amrin has stayed. He's got one game a week." And they gave him the bucks. We knew where the problems were. I think personally, I would have done a Cisco and one other at the front. I wouldn't have done Cunha, Buemo, and Cisco. And I'm not saying that from a Newcastle perspective. I think they just needed the two, and they could have figured out how they were playing up front. Midfield, yes, I think we could always talk about that. Midfield,
Dude.
they fixed the goalkeeping situation. Fair. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. But they gave the guy the chance who was playing one game a week. I'm telling you now, he went into the boardroom and said, I can do it. The reason why he got sacked now and maybe not a couple of weeks ago was they're like, let's see what happens. But the transfers window's open. They're not going to trust him with money. A lot of managers have been sacked now because, like, Chief, we've got a war chest and we don't trust you. Eddie Howe, I think, only has about 100 million now. And that 100 million is probably going to be like 2 signings just to beef up and whatnot. But I don't trust. You could even ask AJ. I'm not really fully trusting of Eddie Howe having some bucks. There's something that's just not right there, and I don't know if the squad is stretched. There's still a lot of championship players that we have. There's still a lot of players that have been relegated with us. I'm liking where the squad is going, but it's too infrequent. There's no consistency. So even there, I'm like, give Eddie Howe to the end of the year. You give him one signing now to beef up the squad. Where I actually don't even know. I like there's a decent balance in the squad. I think I'm okay, but there needs to be a clear out. And I don't trust Eddie Howe with the clear out. So I think it was the wrong time, but it was also probably the right time because let's test you with half the season when you play one game a week.
Yeah.
For
And
me,
he failed with the one game a week.
yeah. Look, I
Yeah.
think with United, the real problem was they shouldn't have hired him when they did. They should have allowed the season to play out and hired him in the summer. And why I say that was part of United's issue also, and it was the same issue we had with Potter. You create a culture of losing. And once a culture of losing is learned, it is hard to undo that. And that was where my concern with United was when they signed him. Because basically he came into a squad that didn't fit what he was doing. He was throwing square pegs in round holes. They just weren't working. Already under 10 half, they were losing. And then you dismiss 10 half in the middle of the season. You don't have the opportunity to rectify that in January. And for 6 months, those players got used to losing. Now you're saying to
That's
those players, stop what you've learned, which is now you've learned that you can, the fans are going to accept it. If we lose a game, they're going to say, okay, we've seen the
And then the
reaction.
next challenge comes.
Then exactly that. And that's where I have big issues with how people are busy selecting and picking out coaches right now. I'd rather always take an interim coach up until the end of the season because ultimately that interim coach isn't there at that period where those players are going through that difficult period where they're losing games. And it's a habit. It's a bad habit. Habits take time to unlearn.
Yeah.
But
Then here was a question. Sorry, because I want you to answer this with your thing.
yeah,
Right. So now you guys got an interim, right? Do you give that interim money in the next couple of weeks, or you say you work with what you've got? It's not
well,
the Frank Lampard situation.
we told Enzo, we're not giving you. He wanted a centre back. We never gave him a centre back. We told him you the players that are there, and that's what I say. It. Unfortunately, we in modern football has changed a lot. The Premier League has changed a lot. The Premier League has become a lot more like continental clubs, where in Italy, in Spain, in both Germany, in France, those are things that happened for a long time. It never happened in England. In England, the manager decided who he signed, what system they were playing, which players he wanted to keep. Sir Alex had full control. Arsene had full control. And what has happened is that everyone has changed that mindset because they don't want to be stuck in the situation that United are right now, where you've got players that fit a certain style. We had to get rid of it because of exactly that situation. When Conte left us, we went from a team that played with a back three to a back four game. And now we have to find places for someone like Victor Moses, who only fitted a certain style. So modern football has created this environment. But where I say with what has happened with modern football and creating that environment of people recruitment not being done by the coaches, it's done because they want to have a situation that if you just come in there, you're just coming in there to do a job. If you can't do the job, we move you on.
Yeah.
Teams are you're getting 18 months as a coach these days, and that's why I say even a situation like with Enzo, the whole reason Enzo fell out to them was that he wanted a centre back, and the club is the directors are looking at the long-term benefit of the club. They're saying to Enzo, but Enzo, you want to recruit a centre back. What happens when Levi comes back? You have Josh Archipong there. How do we
Not
bring,
presenting it the way.
yeah, how do we
And I'm sure
bring
he's
Josh?
presenting a player profile. So he's probably presenting a player profile. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm sure all managers have a player profile. This is
yeah,
what I want. 6
one,
foot speed, blah, blah, blah,
yeah,
stats and whatnot. You're presenting a player profile where we say, but we have this.
yeah.
We're not going to
That's
give you the same type of player that we have.
play that we have, and that's the problem because they're saying also to remember the directors. Their job is not to think about next week, and that's where the disconnect is coming between managers and the directors. The
Facts.
directors, say,
Facts.
I'm looking at my club and the benefit of my club for the next 10 years. I'm not
I
trying
think
to do
yeah,
a Jose
there's
Mourinho
also
situation where he comes to Chelsea, and Jose was lucky in that sense because he built a squad that could last. But the second time Jose came, when he came back, Jose didn't look at the long-term benefits of the club. That's why De Bruyne and Salah were let go. Jose looked at what was best for me.
Now,
The fans are looking at me. They want me to be successful.
To repeat what we just did, what I did the last time.
So I need to be successful. So I'm going to bring players that are going to bring us success.
I
And
think also football, no one wants to talk about this. Football is no longer about the fans.
yeah,
The fans are just revenue.
yeah,
Business
yeah.
has taken over football. It's that simple. We're not gonna ever
I do not
get
think
a
we're happy
mad.
with that. I'm happy. I'm
No, we're
happy.
not.
Dude,
We
I want to. My team must win, and my team must be able to buy good players.
yeah, which is but your
Good
revenue,
players comes with.
the revenue that you generate isn't enough for you to buy the type of players that you're talking about. We're not never gonna have an Abramovich owner
hmm,
ever again
Yes,
yeah,
but see, clear,
because
we are
we've
the
got
richest club in the world, but Newcastle doesn't make money. So Newcastle needs to win the trophies, to buy the good players, to get
my
into this
my
tournament.
my point exactly. I'll go to Burger King. You know the crown that they give out? I'll give you that crown and say, hey, there you go, because you're the richest club in the world. But you're gonna do fuck all with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't have the revenue to justify it. And FFP is being
Yeah.
brought in
It's like,
to
I'll
prevent
give you the
clubs.
And
crown.
that's what I'm
wear
saying.
The crown,
If you look,
wear the crown, celebrate that you are the richest club, but it means fuck all. Because
you know, Newcastle in the Champions League has players that were relegated with Newcastle. There are
Yeah.
championship players that are still playing for Newcastle in the Champions League. When were we last relegated? We're the richest club in the world with championship players.
Yeah, I think I've voiced my opinion around your Eddie Howe and what he's
Oh no,
doing. Yeah, you're your club.
brought out
You're
nice
your
stuff.
club right now, and it yeah, it's too many seasons in that you're your club for the amount of riches that you have.
But it's going to take a long time to reverse. For example, as you talk about Chelsea, right? Why? I think the Chelsea one was a shock. I don't think it was like, okay, cool, it's Varane, it's this player, it's this player. It was Adrian Mutu. There was a lot of who was the other one? The
Good Johnson.
Tejman. No,
Hernan
Oh,
Crespo.
yeah. There was a lot of players where it's like, okay, fine. Nothing is there was money, Iron Robin, but there was nothing like, wow, this is like that player. You still had Lampard, you still had a spine. There was nothing. Cudicini was still there because I don't think you bought Cudicini. He was still around pre-Mourinho,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
pre-Abramovich.
And then you had money, and then you bought Anthony Gordon.
No, but even before that, I think what happened was you guys, the tide was stemmed, and you're trying to keep up to this Chelsea that not the City that did a whole bunch of stuff and then did one by one. Because Fergie always won the league and bought two players. Wenger built a team. Liverpool were always trying to catch up. No one ever did like big things like Chelsea did in the beginning and what City did eventually. But even City was just supplementing. Because remember, they bought Joe and they bought this and they bought that. But then they had a spine of a team where you're like, Company was a good player, but you never saw Company being that guy. Fernandinho, Joe, they had Benjani at a point, Adebayor, Clichy. So they bought players, but they never bought where now you're very, very scared. They never built Galacticos. And I think people are scared
Yeah,
of
but I think
that
also
Newcastle can do a Galactico thing.
You need to remember.
You guys sorry, I just want to finish
You need
point
to
quickly.
remember. Wait,
You guys have built your
I'll forget.
Galacticos.
Yeah, I'll forget. I'll forget. I'm quite I'm on leave. Shit, it's gone. I'm joking. I think you also need to remember you exist in a world of peace, of this fucking PSR or whatever. Where
But it was
you
designed for
are
3 clubs.
what you can do. So you've got money, but you can do fuck all with it.
Yes, it was designed for 3 clubs.
Yeah.
PSL was voted against by every single club, bar Chelsea, City, and Newcastle. It was designed for 3 clubs. As soon as we were taking over, the Premier League had an emergency meeting when we were taking over, and they changed all the rules. They changed the sponsorship rules to say that it must be an equitable contract where the money must make sense because of what City did and what you guys did in terms of just throwing money into the situation. And then they said PSR. So all these rules came in because they said Newcastle can go and spend £100 million on every single player and they will still have enough money.
Yeah.
That's why people are joking about, oh, we can go get Mbappe. We're never getting Mbappe.
No,
We're
look,
never getting
Yeah,
Mbappe. We were never
I
able
don't
to
even
do
think even with the elite talent that there is in the Premier League right now, you guys can touch them. You can't go to Arsenal and ask for Declan Rice, even though you can pay the 200 mil that they would require for Declan Rice.
It happened to us.
I'm just using that as an example.
Ekitike left, Isak left, or Ekitike didn't come, Isak left. We tried for Cunha, we tried for Mbemo, we tried for Sesko.
João Pedro.
So all
You
the players
tried for João Pedro.
João Pedro, tried for all these players. But people
I
still say,
think
well, Newcastle is
the problem that Newcastle also found, and I think this is a big important part to say, is that, and I think this is something that because of the way times have changed. Newcastle found themselves, unfortunately, in an era that I think they were such a threat that the league basically created rules to stop Newcastle. Because ultimately,
I don't think it's a Newcastle thing. I think it's look at it, Jared. Look at it this way: have you ever had a situation where you were at the point of understanding what the game is, but by then the game had moved on? Like there's a hot chick that you want in your neighborhood, but she's
Fair enough.
gone by the time that you get what she is looking for.
Yep. But I think I just want to put some more context to that. We, with Chelsea and Roman, we were speaking about 10, 15 million pounds at point as something that was, we were spending 15, 20, 30 million at that point in time like it was nothing. And at that point in time, everyone was already complaining that we had shifted the market because 30 million is an average for an average player. Newcastle comes
That's true.
in. PSG did it like the comment there. PSG did
Yeah,
it
that's
with
the saying, yeah.
Neymar. Paid 222 million, and that has become the standard on what a transfer for a world-class player is going to cost you, 150 million upwards. Now, we're speaking about PSG, we're speaking about City. They had access to money, but they didn't have access to the the PIF. The PIF could easily throw 300 million at a player, at Mbappe,
Facts.
400 million,
Yeah.
500 million, if they weren't
And they will have
stopped from
these
doing
side contracts that
it.
exist.
100%. If they weren't stopped from doing that. And that's why
Apparently Mancini's salary was being paid on the side. I think it was
Side, yeah.
Mancini.
Yeah.
City wasn't paying for Mancini's
Yeah.
salary.
So
It's
the
part of
club
the
is-
115, or is it
Yeah.
more? The 115 charges.
yeah,
Yeah, 100. We'll
for
cap it
me,
at 100.
the reality is that we're speaking about Declan Rice. Had Newcastle had the chance and Newcastle had the opportunity, Newcastle would have spent 200 million on Declan Rice at that point in time when he was at West Ham.
True.
I agree.
And
Yeah.
we
I
would
agree.
all be sitting here and saying it's unfair, we can't compete. But the reality of it is that's just what the world is like. And like I said, it was actually the people in football themselves that got concerned that traditional powerhouses would lose their control. Because how
It
how
boils
do I
down. It boils down to money, and
Yeah.
that's it. Money rules. The more money you have,
No.
the more opportunities that you have, and that's that. It's like child
Wait.
going to fucking school. Nah,
Wait.
like I think
No,
a lot of
listen,
people forget this. No. Oh, odds. People forget this. Your child right now, if you in South Africa and converted however you want to convert it, the guys that have money can afford to take their children to the Saints and the whatnot and the whatnot. Which South African can afford to have their child grade 1 paying close to about what 300K a year?
Yeah.
That's someone's salary.
But you're missing out.
So basically, hold on. All you're doing is you are buying opportunity. Because at some point, this child is going to find the thing that he's interested in and he's going to be good at.
Yes, but you're missing. I hear what you're saying. But when you talk about traditional, guys, we're all old enough to remember that Lyon was the most successful French club for a long time.
Yeah.
I didn't even know who PSG was for a long time.
Marseille
PSG
was the
Yeah.
PSG
Marseille was the standard,
years.
and Saint
Yeah.
Etienne and
then,
Lyon.
and then it became Lyon. And then I remember Ronaldinho going from PSG, and I'm like, who the hell are PSG? And then everything changes.
And then they
Italy
hit the
was-
Jordan deal. The minute that they hit the Jordan deal, that was mass appeal where all the kids fuck with them because the brand and when I say all the kids, it's all the young teens and girls. Jordan, color pink,
but that's what
everyone fucked with that.
that's what I'm saying. In Italy, you had the 2 Milan clubs and Juve, and unfortunately, Juve paid their way. They enveloped their way to. Hey, and it's our club dog. It's a club dog. It's a club dog. I'll bring out my scarf for the next one to apologize, but it's my club run. But we enveloped our way to that. But AC and Inter were the club to go to, and it was Barca and Real Madrid and Man United. The rest of them.
I speak to the people. The people understand the hot chick school fees. The Ainge, the people understand. When you want to complicate things, I mean, I speak to the people.
I'm talking football. I'm just saying there was a time
Yeah.
when I remember Lyon was the only French side in the Champions League. Monaco made a final.
Yep.
Yeah.
Monaco made a
Bordeaux
final.
as well. Bordeaux was also a big team.
Bordeaux. You see, so we can't come here and say we need to hold on to traditional powerhouses because before Abramovich, you guys were every other year winning a trophy.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Liverpool was every other year winning a trophy.
A shield
Now
of some
all of a
sort.
sudden,
I think let's speak about the national,
you guys are now
national
You
pride.
guys are traditional powerhouse now. Every second kid. Wait, let me say this. This is our last point on the Premier League. You guys are now traditional powerhouse, but you've always been a traditional powerhouse, right? Liverpool now with their second Premier League are also now back to being a traditional powerhouse, but they were always there and thereabouts. So we can't hold on to only these teams must, because that is where we then start losing football. I love the fact. Well, now how I'll segue into thing. I love how the fact that Stellenbosch is always is always playing Africa every year, because then we won back down to a Cape Town side. Yes, he's the richest man in the country, but we've got a Cape Town side because Ajax Cape Town has failed
Boils
us.
down to money.
It does
Let's
boil
talk
down
about
to
South
money.
Africa. Let's talk about Bafana losing to Cameroon. I think everyone, and when I say everyone, I'm speaking as a country. We're disappointed. Disappointment is rightfully so a disappointment. But we're at the point where we are re-energizing our standards and having an understanding as to what it means to play for the badge and what it means to coach the badge. I'll say something that I haven't said. Hugo got the team wrong. He got his substitutions wrong. I would rather have him do it here and now than do it in 6 months' time when we're in Trump land.
I have one point.
This is yeah. I'll
go for
allow
it.
him to. He's got credits in the bank. I'll allow him to tap into those credits. But he got the teams wrong
Okay, I'll
and the
start.
substitutions.
I will start with his successor, definitely Spanish guitar. Jose Barriero he knows the game. So I think I've already banked a successor. If it's not going to be a Bradley Cornell, who's coaching internationally and MLS Coach of the Year, it definitely won't be Benny, because I think Benny's going to chill there because the next AFCON is in Kenya and Tanzania. So I think Benny will do quite well there. If it's not a Spanish guitar, for me, it's Bradley Cornell. I also think Bafana sometimes is somewhat of a poison chalice. I like what he's done. I think he's brought a little bit of professionalism and a little bit of good technicality for Bafana. I like how we play. The only thing, and I say this with all due respect, because I think every footballer has a massive amount of talent. And my friend said it on his status, and essentially he said, "You're not going to expect PSL's best 11." And yes, there's a few players from everywhere, here, there, and everywhere. PSL's best 11 is not going to win an international tournament. Unfortunately, even the England's best 11 is not going to win an international tournament. It's very, very special countries. We played this high press and we shocked Cameroon. And within 25, 30 minutes, and I could blame weather conditions, you're already back to, we got this. I didn't see Baleba at all. And all of a sudden, Baleba was running things. Those guys were a lot harder than us, and I could see it. Egypt, Mo Salah, lost all respect for him. That little challenge for the penalty, I haven't even commented on that because I could see people talking about it. I've withdrawn from that. I think it was soft. But my mate said we need a lot more players playing that side of the world where they're playing against the best players. And I'm going to hold on to that for a long time. For the fact that South African players are playing Champions League, and this is why I mentioned the Stellenbosch thing. What is he saying? Yeah, Reyners could have been the guy.
Really?
I for the fact that
As
Pirates
as I
Sundowns,
said, rather do it now in a continental competition rather than a world competition.
yes, but you beat Cameroon, who have literally been together for 3 weeks, and they've got players to the spine. They've got decent players to the spine, right? But I mean, we've got a 19-year-old Orlando Pirates player who's our star, and they've got a 19-year-old player who scored 9 goals for Bayer Leverkusen next to a Man United player
Yeah, but
who got
that
20
boy,
goals in the Premier
that
League.
striker boy, I know, yeah, that striker
That
boy
header,
has
bro. You
something.
saw that header, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
So
That header was.
Replace
this boys play Champions League, and this is what we're debating about. When you're debating about Mbogazi going to Chicago, and I say I'm worried about the Chicago elements because my brother's in the UK right now in -9, and he's like, bruh, I cannot do -9, and that is going to be tough for you to carry into a good footballing career. So you need to have the discipline to
just
carry
so
that.
the
And we
world,
need more of those
so
players.
just the world knows, and everyone here is gonna tell you. I went and I said, pure greed for him to go to Chicago. He does not have the right to go to the MLS. He's got every right to challenge in Europe.
Dude, can I tell you something? Listen to the commentators. Listen to the commentators and who plays where and who plays where. They're just playing against better opposition at all times. You could see that Foster has something. You could see it. But at the end of the day, there was still something missing. But he's got something. You've got a 19-year-old striker who scored 9 goals in the Bundesliga, and Foster's got 2 in the Premier
Hey,
League.
in the Prem. And as well, Foster doesn't play Champions League football. I was that was my argument as
So
well
so
when I was
so
speaking.
those are the different things. You know, like you can't have 9. So I was actually looking at a stat, right? Orlando Pirates has the second most amount of players in the tournament, right? And then it's Simba on 9 each. So we're 9 each. I can't remember who the top team is, and then it's Sunderland, right? So if you're thinking about representation, there's one team is like Algiers or Al Ali or something like that. Orlando Pirates, Simba, and then Sunderland. And Sunderland were going to be in a crisis, but they were going to lose one player, one player, one player, one player. There's a lot of the French teams who lose one player, one player, one
Yeah.
player. We've lost half our team as Orlando Pirates. Simba's lost half their team as for Tanzania. You know, then you've got an MCL Jazz or you've got Al Ali or whatever it is. But those are those are top echelons. Look where Tanzania came out. Look where we came out. But those 1-1s are the ones that make those teams. There's a Real Madrid striker at the tournament.
Dude, guys, don't even go
We're trying to
far,
beat
bro.
them on Friday. We're gonna try
Yeah,
to beat
bro.
Morocco on Friday. They got a Real Madrid
Yeah.
striker. You're telling me he's gonna play against CBC from Orlando Pirates?
There's levels, dog. I mean, did you guys watch the
And not everyone
Senegal?
has to play. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you guys watch the Senegal and Sudan game, bro?
Yeah.
Like Senegal have players for days, bro. Like I was shocked to see
Code.
that
Cheat code.
the winger that plays for PSG Mbaye. I thought he's French, bro. I see this guy coming off the bench. I'm like, this guy plays for PSG. And then Lamine Camara plays for Monaco, coming off the bench. And even the guy who's got the brace, the Pape Gay guy who plays for Villarreal. I'm like, bro, there's levels, bro. I was even watching with my dad. I'm like, Senegal has players. We are nowhere near Senegal's level. Let's be honest now.
We've gotten better because our top
Yeah.
no, but what I'm saying is our top players play against Africa's top players. So at the
Yeah.
end of the day, every week, every month, Pirates and Sundowns are playing they're playing the top teams. But we
Yeah.
got to get to the point where half
It's
our
only
team
Sundowns now.
playing in the
Yeah, so I think there's just two things here. There's two sides of that same coin. Number one, yesterday's game was a typical example of South African football. A whole lot of good play in between the boxes and poor play where it matters. Excellent at playing football we're not excellent at finishing football games.
Converting. Thank you.
The reason we haven't been successful for a long time is that we have not had a world-class striker since Benny McCarthy. And
Facts.
I looked at a boy like Rele, quality, but Rele's the problem for
Not match
Rele.
fit. Not
Yeah,
match fit.
and also I think
But where was Nkota? Is Nkota injured? Where was Nkota?
nah,
He's
Nkota,
also
Hey,
that
that's a doggish.
decision to take him to Saudi wasn't good. But like I said, for me the thing with Rele especially, and even Nkota, I mean, Nkota, where he struggled for me was just purely because he's been out of the system now. So he's no more playing, and that relationships don't exist anymore.
yeah,
And
facts.
where really for me, the thing that I think was a bit, you could see the quality at points. He was collecting the ball between the lines. He was actually holding
It
on
was
to
pushing. It was pushing. It was
creating.
getting rid of
Yeah,
players, two
he
players
was
going forward.
he was creating stuff. But the problem is for Rele is, and I'm glad that he's had this experience because it will only be good for him going forward. And I'm glad Hugo
Thank you.
took this approach of
Yeah,
saying, give these young boys a chance, let them learn and thrive at that environment. Right now for
Which I
Bafana,
agree with.
yeah, the right now for Bafana, and this is the biggest problem, is the rest of Africa has the benefits of West Africa. West Africa has the benefit of France. They can send their players to France. Those some of them don't even send their players. They just go and recruit their boys that aren't good enough for the French national team to come play for their
Like
teams.
Mbai.
yeah.
In the
So it's
English?
like the teams. It's the
They
team
English,
C.
100%.
Yeah.
And Bafana,
And one
just
boy who
purely-
won certain of the there was
yeah,
one boy
because
who won the under 17s with
Seven-
England.
England,
And
yeah. Lukman,
Yeah.
Ademola Lukman. Lukman was at the under 17 national team with England. He never played for us. Iwobi is another one. But where we don't have that benefit, how do we close the gap? And like you said, the thing is that recently we've taken the Champions League seriously. And the two countries that live like that is us and Egypt. Egypt live off Al Ahly, and a successful Al Ahly and a successful Zamalek means a successful Egyptian team. And what has happened with Bafana is that for us to close that gap, we've had to rely more on relationships and building our squad around players that are used to playing with one another than actually going talent for talent. Because if you go talent for talent, we're not going to be able to sustain that sense.
It's a
We
different
might have
conversation.
some, yeah.
Very good. That's a very good point. That's a very,
So
very good.
the only way we can really close that gap is by doing what we are and hoping that our players that are playing at that high level in the Champions League, CAF Champions League, are showing enough to be able to be taken across at a young enough age, to be taken across to bigger leagues, to experience playing in those bigger leagues. And the problem then is,
Jared,
are they?
you raise a point. Hugo took 3 boys unknown to South Africans. He took them to
Here they are.
Morocco.
There was a point, so I actually to the
Yes,
There was a point.
Yes,
There was a
yeah. Sorry,
was a-
yeah,
for
yeah.
me
And
the point of,
There was a
and
point.
everyone lost their marbles. Like, why is he doing that? The minute you expose these boys to
yeah,
a knockout international tournament and they have an understanding at what the ask is, they come out different.
different, yeah. The levels
I
of
don't know
the-
this.
They-
I don't know these boys, but they're playing internationally.
Well, Chandra is busy playing Champions League football for Bruges.
Yeah.
He's
Campbell, yeah.
19. Campbell is what we should be looking at to be given a chance. But like you say, is that they had to come because they had to experience what it's like. They need to be brought in and phased into the situation. But Campbell doesn't have the benefit like Rele of playing with Osborne every week. So he doesn't have the
What a
relationship.
point. What a point. What a point.
Yeah, but
So we
then
fight
the other side of that point is the expectation of we are introducing these young kids now. 6 months, there's the World Cup. Our South Africans are going to ask, yeah, but you gave them experience in AFCON. They should play now, of which that shouldn't be the case. You need to give these kids time.
But those boys will need to be going to the World Cup as well to experience the
Thank you.
World Cup, not to play.
Yeah,
They're going there. Ronaldo, phenomenal, sat on a bench for the 94 World Cup. The whole World Cup didn't touch the field. Why? Because they wanted to show him what it's like being at a World Cup.
at that level.
They had
And I think I've
Romario,
read,
they had Romario, they had Bebeto. They didn't need anything else. They brought him to experience. And sometimes you need to understand, you need to make those trade-offs, especially as a country like us, where our players aren't being exposed every week to the highest level. And yesterday you could see just the thing that there was positives and cons to what happened yesterday. Like you said, the first 20 minutes we played Cameroon off the pitch. I have a friend.
And the final quote, the final
Final
that
third.
have you
That is
ever
what
have you ever have you ever made love to a woman but you couldn't get that final thing?
What
Well,
final
it's
thing,
podcast.
dog?
It's a
What
sports-
final thing are you
I
referring
mean,
to?
but
I
when
was-
you say-
There's that magical last thing which is
I
like
was speaking to some gents from that the Cameroonian
Right.
guys, and they have contacts there in the in Cameroon's national team, and they were busy telling me they're like, bruh, you guys have played the best football we saw at this AFCON for that first 20 minutes. The difference was when the chance came, Cameroon converted the
You didn't
chance.
take it.
thank
Yeah.
you.
And
That's
also,
exactly what I'm saying.
I think they were shell shocked, and when they got into the game, it's like, okay, here's their quality. Like I said, I
but-
was looking for Baleba.
If
And
I'm
they're looking
honest,
for someone-
if
and there was
I'm
such a
honest
gap
with
in the
you,
midfield.
Odds, Baleba, Brighton are busy quoting 100 million fee for Baleba. I was watching Toboko Mokoena play Baleba off the park.
Yes.
Toboko was the best player on the pitch yesterday.
Thank you.
Yes.
Baleba
Yes.
did not look like a 100 million player to me.
I don't
And
disagree with you.
My,
You're
my,
100%
my
correct.
mates actually told me, he said, you know what? The reality of it is that Toboko being younger, Toboko would be the player everyone be raving about.
Yeah.
But the problem that
Uh,
comes,
what's his
in
name?
with South African players is
Let Brighton fleece whoever the fuck they want. They've done it with
Yeah.
Chelsea. It's gonna happen. And I think now their next victim is Man United.
Nah, we're not gonna.
So I
get
just want
Baleba.
to swear, I want to just respond to him. And I think what we're saying about all the tournaments is that, I mean, the one boy plays for Norwich, and he started for Norwich, and he's I think it's Tyler Smith. He's the
is
defender.
by QPR.
Uh,
It's about
He's
QPR.
Oh,
busy
QPR,
playing
sorry.
for themselves,
yeah.
yeah.
So like it's that quality around you.
Yeah.
You know, we're not saying that there's no quality here. What we're saying is there was a point in South Africa where the quality was not there. The quality has now changed because there's an echelon of club that's playing against the echelon of. I was once cutting my hair, and this Egyptian guy said, in Egypt we know 3 teams: Sundowns, Zamalek, and Al Ahly. There's no other teams that they care about. You can talk about Raja Casablanca. You can talk about all these clubs up Tunis. They're just like, we don't care about any of those clubs. Zamalek, Al Ahly, Mamelodi Sundowns, because those are their 2 biggest rivals or 3 biggest clubs that Egyptians see. So now that we have a club in that, and we sit here and we're saying, but guys, you can't look at Pirates like a small club, but you're not going to take 2. Wait. You're not going to take 20 players from 2 clubs and think you're going to win the tournament.
So
Yeah.
I just want to
That's my
respond.
and I'm just saying we're pulling from here. There's a Real Madrid striker here. There's a Liverpool striker here. He's got 100 odd goals, and we're still trying to make Rele the guy. We're trying to make
so-
Rele the guy, and yes, he's still young. We're trying to take Mokopa. and we're trying to make Mokopa the guy, but there's Mohamed Salah.
Mahopadowski, dog. Mahopadowski.
He's got
He delivered yesterday. He was unfortunate. There's a header that he had, which was like inches. That header could have changed the whole complexity of this conversation.
Mahopadowski, dog.
And I'm sitting there and I'm looking and I'm like, yo, Apollos, I'm loving Apollos. Worried about the size, but I'm liking he's nice and nippy, and
they take him out.
Playing well. There's nice touches. I actually like the fact that he started with Rele because I'm very skeptical about Mbule's role where he starts him. So Mbule is not that way.
He's not a 10. I don't think he's a 10.
He's like
he's more 8.
Somewhere there.
He's an advanced 8, though.
Yeah.
What I'm saying,
and I think he's an advanced 8 who needs alcohol in his system.
The boys are learning.
What I would say, just to answer Sway there, my concern on that mindset is these are the same boys that went, especially Thailand. Like, look, Chandre, they've been raving about him, and he's been looked at as the only other one that's sitting at that same level is Emir, but boy, where they were raving about him even more than what Rel has been raved about.
And he was in the preliminary squad, Vitboy.
Yeah, in a sense that those were boys that were seen as stars for a long time. Thailand, the whole reason Thailand was part of the Bafana team was actually to show the boys from the under-20s that there is a pathway for your success into Bafana. You have to give, those boys went and won their version of the AFCON. You need to give them that version. You need to say to them, guys, here's a reward for doing well. You can be part, and there is a pathway that you're going to end up in the top situation. Thailand.
End of the day, guys, and I need to drop off. You can't buy Spillion. Unfortunately, when it comes to this knockout tournament, you can't buy Spillion.
Yeah.
So I want to respond to Tato quickly because Spain did it, yes, with two of the biggest clubs in the world. Orlando Pirates and Sundowns are doing it with two of the biggest clubs on the continent. Yes, it can happen, but you must understand the level, the extra level that it takes.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm just trying to say. So if we literally were in the position like Israel, where they have two of the biggest clubs, they will do the same thing. If we had Bayern Munich and Dortmund players playing for South Africa, we would go far.
Yeah.
But you would only go so far if it was just those teams.
Yeah, but we've got club owners. We've got club owners that are willing to move players to Saudi. We've got club owners that are willing to move clubs to the MLS. What does Saudi and MLS do for us?
It's a level, bruh. It's a level.
No. What does it do?
Maybe not Saudi. I don't know. So at the end of the day, for example, Jazza said the French guys, that West Africa, they literally all go.
North Africa as well.
All go to France and Belgium.
North Africa, Morocco's picking all the boys up from Spain. All the boys that can't make the Spanish national team there have Moroccan passports, especially Madrid and in Barcelona. They're picking up all the
Clairefontaine. Yeah, okay. Clairefontaine.
Look at what
those are nice. Those are nice. To be honest, those are very nice fallovers to have.
Yeah.
It's like even same thing. Like Cameroonian mother, Senegalese father.
Look at Morocco. Munir Al-Haddadi was once Barcelona's next big thing. Yeah. He didn't work out. And where did Munir go and play for? Morocco. Brahim Diaz playing for Morocco.
Same as Hakimi. Hakimi was also born in Spain.
100%.
Yeah.
We don't have
and it was only Ghana who said no to Nketiah and Hudson-Odoi.
But I can understand Ghana's response to that. Because also, how do you say to those players that got you there to the World Cup?
No, that's true.
These guys are going to come in. Especially, fair enough, Nketiah and Hudson-Odoi are good players. But are they Brahim Diaz?
No.
I think they
Brand
add to our
quality.
squad, but I don't think they add to a Ghana squad, which is a totally
No.
fair
Yeah.
argument. We
Yeah.
can only go to the UK and maybe Holland because hey, based on our history,
And
we don't have.
even on our history, the players that we're bringing at that point in time aren't of the top tier. That's my concern. Is that
Yeah.
which
Abu
is
Pierre
which is which
Issa.
is where
Can I
I think
address
we can
this?
also talk about there
Can I
is
address
still
this?
quality that we have to build, and our quality comes from here to
Yeah.
go there. Doesn't come from there to come here, in my personal opinion. Unless you're South African,
Okay.
you've moved and whatever you can, but we don't. We're gonna have French-born South Africans. We're gonna have Dutch-born South Africans. We'll have South Africans that we know from here that go there, and then
yeah,
they extend their talent there, not the other way around. For us as South Africa, not West Africa, North
Okay.
Africa.
So there's something which is like it's a weird thing that everyone knows on. And this is purely on what Tato B is talking about. What is happening in South Africa right now with these club owners and agents is they seek what we call instant gratification, and they don't play the long game. What that is in a winter's night, you pin on yourself to keep yourself warm, but then you suffer afterwards. That's exactly what it is. We at that moment where you pee on yourself, where it feels very, very warm, but we're gonna feel it in the next couple of months.
That's a great analogy.
no,
For a change, you got that one on. Yeah.
it
That
is.
No,
one
I
sounds
always
good.
dawa, I always deliver. Don't fuck around. don't fuck around. I always deliver.
Last
Anyway,
last point.
Sway is just researching on you guys. Like,
Yeah, he's just out here throwing stats, and we're like, dog, I understand where it's coming from, but I mean, who was it? Eze didn't make it at Arsenal. Was at QPR, was bought to go to Crystal Palace, and now he's back at Arsenal. But
yeah,
it's the
but he's
same.
on the
It's
bench.
the same
He's on the bench at Arsenal. He's fucked.
It's
like-
gonna be the same
But
thing.
what
as
I'm
Semenyo.
but what I'm talking about is you can have a look at the trajectory.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
You can have a look at the trajectory.
and that your
And a lot
point,
of players might not make it.
your point also, odds that you're busy putting out is also a valid point. Nigeria can go to England because a lot of those players that are playing in the top level in the Premier League have Nigerian or Ghanaian descent.
Yeah.
Now the thing is that they're always going to have a chance because of physicality. It's the whole of West Africa. That's West Africa. Why they get the chances they do because of physicality.
And I
It's
think about it.
like-
What do we offer Europe?
That's it. We
We-
offer
we-
them what they have already.
In
Our
South
players
America,
are-
and it's cheaper in South America.
Yeah, to buy. Our players are technically. We have to rely on our technical ability,
yeah.
but that means we're going up against Argentinians and Colombians and Brazilians. They're gonna go and shop there first before they even look at the rest of Africa, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah, facts.
they're gonna look into their own. I mean, Spain, Holland, those two
And
countries.
Jared, I'll tell you this: Safa, every now and then they watch the episode. What you speaking right now is like utter facts, where they should write it down.
Yeah.
What do we offer Europe, so that we are at the point where iron sharpens iron?
Yeah.
No, but 100%.
But why
that's
did we
what-
lose out on Feyenoord, and why did we lose out on Ajax?
Look,
I mean, that's the
my-
story for another part. But
the
that's
other
the thing.
day,
We
but
lost two good
My
Premier
the
clubs.
thing that really irritated me about Mbokazi's one was Mbokazi was the rare one that had the physicality to go to Europe.
Dude. Like Bogazi
Yeah,
has
I agree.
everything, dude. Like even that was one thing my dad and I were just talking about, that this guy actually has the physicality. Like
Yeah.
he's built like a tank, he's fast,
Mm.
and he can match. You saw what he did to Mbuemo. Like even
But
to Salah,
Salah,
his one-on-ones,
even to Salah.
solid. Yeah.
He took
Clap,
Salah,
bro.
he marked him by himself. He said,
Yeah.
I'll deal with Salah one-on-one, and I'll deal
And
with
as
him.
well, he's also very intelligent, dog. Like one thing I noticed about him is that he didn't engage immediately.
Yeah.
You know, he took his time with it because he knew that and he needs to wait for his teammates to come
to
and cover
recover.
for him before he engages.
And then now,
Whereas Gezana is the
motherfucker has gone
opposite.
and signed how many years
Yeah.
contract in Cape
Yeah.
Town?
And what we have previously said for my closing point is that if he gets better coaching, if he plays against better players, it only benefits us.
And
And
especially
he's
at the back.
guaranteed. He's guaranteed. He's not going to be relegated.
Yeah,
But
that's the
but
only
you-
thing. But the reality of it is we must hope that it's like a John Duran, that
yeah,
the teams in Europe look at them very early and still see quality and go and buy them from.
yeah,
But honestly, for me, had he waited 6 months, he could have been possibly going to Atalanta. That's for another
yeah.
day.
A bigger team, an even bigger team.
I think he would have got himself, especially the way that he performed against Salah and against Mbuemo. I honestly think he would have got a team in Europe would have bought him, but I think as a solid, even a Champions League level side outside of maybe England or Spain would
Yeah,
have bought him.
Gents,
100%.
There was a point where Ajax had a feeder club in Cape Town.
But I'm talking about
And
Final and Supersport were the same.
Super Sport
Final
as
and
well.
Supersport did the same thing.
we
Ajax,
fucked that up.
They broke up.
Yeah,
Hey,
They
hey,
broke that
We
up.
fucked that up.
And now you're sitting
Yeah.
there like Ajax, one of the
Junaid
only clubs in
Hackney.
the world.
Junaid when he went to Liga and was seen as one of the best talents in the world. Same thing about Kermit Erasmus.
hey, over there,
The
guys. I think
minute
we could.
the minute you're at the point where you can pick and choose the top talent, and this is not like top talent in your country, but top talent in the world, that's when you know you're doing it right. I mean, look at what's his name. Look at who's that that guy that acted in Titanic. Who's the guy that acted in Titanic?
Leo.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
He's doing it right. He knows once they reach that expiry date of 25.
25.
I'm joking, guys. I'm gonna go.
Anyway, guys, hey,
thank you very
this
much
guy's
for
a
watching.
problem. Hey, guys, let's close it there, man. This was a very long stream, but yeah, very informative. Thank you so much for availing yourselves, guys. Please like,
Thank you.
comment, share, subscribe to the channel. Help a brother out. This is Easy Sport, and we out. Peace.
Peace,
Bye,
gents.
Timmy.